Let me put my glasses on here, man. It's warm out here. Holy smokers. There we go. You can see. You guys see me okay? If you guys are out there, join into this live stream. Let me just put this a little bit closer. I might have to put the shade umbrella up. It's really, really warm out here. We're sitting at about, in the shade, 73 degrees with 41% humidity. So low humidity here. That's a nice thing about living on these islands. We have low humidity. Anyway, we had a good day today, and this was my work day. And you know what's coming up? 4th of July for my American friends. 4th of July on Friday. Friday's Independence Day. You know how old the U.S. is going to be? I know how old the U.S. is going to be. Canada Day was July 1st. Canada Day is July 1st every year, and every year is July 4th is Independence Day. U.S. is going to be 249 years old. Anyway, we are broadcasting live from the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific. We're on a small island in the North Pacific off the far southwest coast of British Columbia. Hello, Susan. Susan Sawatsky. Good to have you in there, man. Hey, I've seen that name show up lots in comments. So, hey, good to see you in there, Susan. I hope you're having a good afternoon. The time here, I think it's around just after 5 p.m. Pacific time. Let me look at my watch. 5:20. It's 5:20. 5:20. 5:20 p.m. Pacific time here on the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific. I'll spin this around for a second so you can see what I'm looking at. And, well, what you're going to look at, we'll go like this. And I'll show you some of Wendy's hydrangeas. There's Wendy over there in the sun. It's a warm day on the rock. And actually, I'll just shoot it over the deck into the jungle garden here, southwest slope. And lots of exotica. Look at the teasel. Apples, loquat, Guatemalan cherry, palms, and we'll go over here. Lots of figs too. Fig trees are just loaded this year. Loaded. Lots of figs. That's a dessert king. And got to get those figs before the raccoons scoop them. What happens, they get up there and they start breaking the branches, which is a pain in the butt. We even have one on the deck there too, but this is looking down the south slope. You guys are down there, you can see some Fargesia robusta bamboo and a bald cypress, eucalyptus. And Wendy's got lots of flowers here, lots of flowers. And fatsia trees. These are great trees. I love fatsia. They're always green, year-round. We try to grow as much BLE stuff as we can. BLE short for broadleaf evergreen. More palms. And strawberry trees, Arbutus unido. And then more naturalized eucalyptus trees there. Snow gum eucalyptus. And there's China fir down there behind that eucalyptus. No shortage of palm trees. And then we also have the Tasmanian tree fern, and you can kind of see it right there in the distance on the lower deck there. The B&B deck, one of the B&B decks, that's where the B&B guests hang out. They come out their front door onto that deck, hang out under the Tasmanian tree fern and the palm trees. So anyway, it's a really nice sitting area. This is a big sun deck, and it soaks up a lot of sun. It's on the south wall. Here's a Cycad panchuensis, pretty rare one. I had it in the ground for years. I ended up digging it out, and it seems to be happier in the pot, believe it or not. Maybe more heat. I had it kind of in a partly shaded spot. Sereno repens, that's a saw palmetto. That's what they use for prostate. That's a prostate kind of like vitamin when you buy Sereno repens or saw palmetto. That's it right there. Love this. Oh, thanks, Amanda. Good to have you in there. And so like we are in Canada, this is a Canadian island in the North Pacific. A lot different than the rest of Canada. Okay, we grow a lot of cool stuff here. And not tropical, but we can grow a lot of tropical-like looking plants. Nandina domenica. This is heavenly bamboo native to Asia. Going to come into bloom. And it's a big one. Then it gets berries on it. Then we got jasmine. Very fragrant. You know, you come out here, you smell this. It smells like Hawaii. These are jasmine vines, and they're big ones. They go up through this timber bamboo. And you can see the shoots on this timber bamboo. What's up? Good to have you in there, man. Carlo, good to guys have you in there. Welcome to Gulf Island Rock. You can see the shoots coming up on this bamboo. So we're on the southern Gulf Islands. Hello, Carlos. Aloha. Right back to you, brother. Here, I'll spin this around so you can see what we're looking at here. So anyway, here's some Wendy's hydrangeas. These are hydrangea flowers. Wendy has a lot of flowers here. Batch crazy. What's up? Good to have you in there. And of course, we grow lots of palm trees. No shortage of palm trees here. There's fatsia trees, big ones, here under the Pacific Madrona. So these big trees here are a tropical looking native tree right here. These are Pacific Madrona trees, and they're absolutely beautiful. I said hi, batshit crazy. I'm going to flip this around for a minute so you can see in this courtyard. And the jasmine vines are just hanging everywhere. And Wendy and I were just eating our dinner out there. She made some BLTs, and we sat there in the shade under the bamboo, and that's all you smell is these beautiful jasmine flowers. You know, I planted these in 1999 when they were very tiny, and they're big, thick vines now. There's 4 or 5 of them in there. Wendy's Art Gallery over there. And a lot of stuff's finished blooming, but there's more things starting to bloom too. So, but what do you think of that? Hard to believe that we are in Canada. This is a Canadian island here in the North Pacific. And like I say, we love palm trees. So we grow a lot of palm trees here. And there's a lot of palm trees on our island. They grow very well here, certain species of palm trees. The ones you're looking at here are called a Trachycarpus fortunei, or a Chinese windmill palm. You guys can Google that. Google Chinese windmill palm. And a lot of these I grew from seed. These have been in the ground, some of them over 30 years. And yeah, they do very well here. Very well. I'm going to say foolproof. I'm going to go a little bit farther out. Hopefully my signal doesn't die. I'm running Starlink right now. And these are Fatsia japonica trees. And then there's some big yuccas over here too. That's Yucca gigantea. There's Yucca gloriosa. And there's lots of cactus over there too. And it just goes on and on. It's like a jungle. We call this the jungle garden. And lots of eucalyptus trees. We had some mother-sized eucalyptus trees, but we actually had to get them cut down. They were just getting too big. I grew them from seed years ago. And they had to go. We got them cut down in February 2021. We had a grove of them cut down. They were over 30 meters tall. It was sad to see them go. They're beautiful trees, but you know, they were too close to one of our accommodations and starting to lose branches and stuff. Big chunks of bark coming off of them, really dangerous. There's an Acer glyceum, that's a paper bark maple, southern magnolia, and more palms, and just a whole bunch of stuff we grow in this garden. It's basically like a botanical garden. That's what's so nice about this place. And there's different corridors to this garden. There's Camellia japonica. These are hibiscus, which still have to bloom. There's bay leaf, Laurus nobilis, Arbutus unido trees. And then there's the beautiful mighty Pacific Madrona. That's Arbutus mansazii. They're everywhere. I'm going to show you some really big ones, over 100 foot tall, or over 30 meters. Really big Arbutus trees in here. There, way up there, those are Arbutus. And the cool thing about Arbutus trees, they need exact requirements to grow. This is the only place in Canada they will grow. And the bark peels like eucalyptus. They are evergreen, so they're year-round, they're green. They get beautiful spring flowers that smell like honey, white flowers, followed by red berries in the fall that the birds love to eat. So Pacific Madrona, that can only be found here in this part of Canada. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a good day out there. I don't know. I don't think there's anybody in this live stream that is from this island. There's about 10,500 people on this island, and I don't recognize any of your names from our island. So I'm sure most of you people are very far away, very, very far away in YouTube land. Anyway, it's a beautiful early evening here on the Gulf Islands. It doesn't really get better. That's a male palm tree that's finished blooming, and then it pollinates the female palm. This is mint. Put this stuff in my tea all the time. I come out here and pick it. I hear the ravens. The ravens are here. I leave them treats every day. The ravens are back. Hear them? Okay, so we're going to see them come down to the compost. I left some bread out for them. Let's see. Oh, there's one right there. There he goes. They're up there. They're up there. I'm going to have to... California here. California, nice. Nice. Everything grows in California. I mean, California's got a different types of climates. I mean, you can be up in the mountain where it's cold and snowy, or you could be in northern coast of California where it's more temperate, or you could be in the Mediterranean area where, like San Diego, Los Angeles, whatever, where you grow everything. You can basically have a very tropical-like garden growing some very tender plants. I love California, man. If I lived there, I would be growing everything if I lived in an area that would permit it. I talked to a lot of people in California. I was talking to my buddy in the Mojave Desert last night. And when I say talk, I talk on my two-way radio. Okay, so there's one of my antennas right there. You see that antenna up there? That's a beam antenna. And right now it's pointed towards California. So I talked to two Whiskey Radio 754 in the Mojave Desert, California. And that was the only station I could talk to yesterday. There's nothing really much coming in on the airwaves, but that's my radio shack right over there, that little shake building. So I got lots of radios in there. There's another antenna, IMAX 2000, Sigma Venom, and then I got another antenna way over there. Actually, let's go into the radio room and I'll show you what I mean. Maybe California's coming in right now. And that's a nice thing about a directional antenna. It's got a motor on it, and I can turn it to where I want to talk. But the conditions have to be right in order to talk to us. Hopefully my signal's not going to die out because I'm farther away from the Starlink, okay, which is in the house. If it does, this is my radio room. All right, this is the radio room. This is where I talk, right? This is where I talk to California. So let's just turn this on and hopefully it doesn't die. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to tune this in here and see if we can get to California. Oh yeah, beautiful match. Got to tune stuff up here, man. All right, you ready? Let's see if we can talk to California. Let's put some horsepower on here, and hopefully my signal doesn't die. CQDX, calling CQDX, California, 9 Alpha Tango 791, 9 Alpha Tango 791 on the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific. Pretty quiet on the band, man. It's dead. CQDX, 791, 9 Alpha Tango, 791, Gulf Islands, North Pacific. Anyway, this is where I broadcast from, guys. And I talk to California a lot. Yeah, there's nothing coming in right now. I'll come back out later. It's dead right now on the band. So if there's skip coming in later, I talk to it. And I do have another channel with all my Video Gate stuff on it. Jungle Josie Video Gates is actually my radio channel. So that's my radio room there. The man cave. Wendy actually built that. The side of it looks pretty cool. It's like a jungle in here. Lots of plants. And yeah, it's a really nice spot. Really good little spot to communicate to the world with. But it's nice to just look out into the garden. There's Wendy's gallery. The kiwi vines are loaded. Lots of fruit on the kiwi vines over there. Wendy was just cutting them back the other day. They're kind of taking over. It's a problem when you have kiwi vines. You got to keep them under control or they start to strangle everything in the garden, right? So let's spin this around. There we go. And we got the nice palmy view behind us. Look at that. You know, gotta love palm trees. Palm trees make it way better. You know, California's got a lot of palm trees, but you know, I'm going to tell you something. There's only one species of palm tree native to all of California. Did you know that? There's a little bit of information for you. I know lots about palm trees. The only species of palm tree native to California can be found in the southwestern deserts, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, 29 palms. And you usually see them. They've got skirts on them. You see a lot of dead fronds hanging off them. They're called a California fan palm or Washingtonia foliifera. That's the only species of palm tree native to all. Every other palm tree you see in California has been introduced. And most of the plants you see there have been introduced from other parts of the world. The tall ones that usually line the boulevards that are sky dusters, they call them a sky duster palm. They're really tall, skinny trunks with fan leaves on top. Those are called Washingtonia robusta or Mexican fan palms, which are very similar to a California fan palm, except the California fan palm, more cold tolerant and a bigger, thicker trunk. But the Washingtonia robusta Mexican fan palm is more wet tolerant, so they can tolerate wetter winters, is the Mexican fan palm. So if you go to the southwest coast of Oregon, go to Brookings, go to Gold Beach, you'll see a lot of big palm trees. And there's some really big Mexican fan palms in the southwest corner of Oregon. I've been down there to photograph them. There's huge date palms in Brookings, Oregon, too. Brookings, Oregon is probably the mildest climate in the whole Pacific Northwest. It's like a microclimate. And instead of facing north-south, Brookings is facing southwest. So they get these warm winds that come up from California. And it's actually got a microclimate there, and they call it the Brookings effect. Look it up. You can Google it if you don't believe me. It's called the Brookings effect, and it was discovered by a weatherman in 1955. And I've gone down there just to look at the flora, and everything grows in Brookings, Oregon. It's unbelievable. They rarely ever get frost in Brookings, Oregon. So it's the extreme southwest corner of Brookings, Oregon. It's about 26 miles north of that is Gold Beach. And then just south of Brookings, you go over the border into Crescent City, Northern Cal, and I've been down there too. But there's some huge, huge date palms in Brookings, Oregon. Phoenix canariensis. I've seen Norfolk Island pines. I've seen Cygris romanzophiana palms, which is a queen palm. All of this stuff grows in California. The citrus grows down there. Tibouchina. Look it up, man. If you want a cool trip into the Pacific Northwest and you like exotic flora like I do, go to Brookings, Oregon. Keep your eyes open. And you go down, you drive around some of these neighborhoods, man, and you'll see some really cool plants. And you know, another thing that's really cool, I'll show you what grows all over down there, and I'm going to show you what we grow here. It's a pretty subtropical yucca. You see that yucca right there? That big yucca, not the smaller yucca gloriosa, which are going to get big. Hi, Brian. Good to have you in there. And Susan. And Susan must know her palms. So you see this bigger yucca right there, which is no challenge for Southern California or Brookings, Oregon. Those seem to be the yucca of choice for Brookings, Oregon. That's called a yucca gigantea, or formerly known as yucca elephantippes. And I planted that in June 2007. So it's been outside for 18 years now. I do cheat with it. Wintertime, I put kind of like a plastic kind of a bag over top of it. And so far it's survived a lot of winters out there. Somebody gave me that as a house plant. They had it as a house plant for 20 years. And my ex-wife used to have a daycare here. And they had their kid in the daycare. And then when the wife closed the daycare, they were going to move far north. And they says, hey, Joe, we got a yucca you might want. And if anybody's going to make it survive outside, you will. So, hey, they had it as a house plant. I planted it outside. And it's actually a beautiful yucca. It never bloomed or anything. But I think it's the only one growing outside on our island that I know of. I mean, we grow a lot of yuccas. This is just some of them. If you go to the front driveway, there's tons of yuccas out there. And then if you look down there, it's kind of like the Ho Chi Minh Trail. Actually, I can go through the house and I will show you the front garden. I'll show you the tree fern. We'll go down to the lower deck and we'll look at the tree fern. Tree fern, be doing that. Okay. Be doing that. Okay. How's that? Is that better? Let me know if that's better. Let me know if you guys can see me. Okay, hang on. Hang on, guys. Can you guys see me now? Yes, you can see me. Good. Thank you, Susan. I'm going to go down to the tree fern, and I'm going to show you. I'm just getting the sap off my foot. Stepped on some sap. Ugh. Gross. Okay, hang on. You know how to get rid of sap? You know how to get rid of sap? Use that hand cleaner, that alcohol stuff. Okay, so here we go. We're going to go down and show you the tree fern. Look at that. Okay. We're going to go down and show you the tree fern. I'm curious, how you're going to transfer. I'm going to cut it down. When you move, when the place sells, you take a chainsaw and you cut it out of the ground. You cut it off. Hey, Wendy, there's a package here. Hey, Wendy, look at that. There's 2 packages, not just one. 2 packages. We're going to throw them up here, right there. Okay, it's funny to just leave it at the door. We don't have porch pirates here, so I'm going to have to worry about it. Okay. So here's the front garden. So you just take a chainsaw and you cut it off from the bottom because the whole trunk consists of roots, right? Kumquats, little kumquats. So let's go look at the tree fern. This is the front of the place here. There's the guest is out right now. That's one of our accommodations. Right here, this is Magnolia Petal accommodation. And she's visiting from over on the Big Island, Vancouver Island, right? Okay, so let's go look at that. Show you. And hopefully my thing doesn't die out here. So yeah, tree fern I'm taking. My buddy gave me that years ago. I planted it over 31 years ago. So it's a pretty nice tree fern. So you take a chainsaw. I know it's hard to do, and you saw it off from the bottom, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to dig it. I'm going to dig it and get a little bit of a root ball with it. And then it's going to be heavy though, because it's got 6 feet of trunk. It's going to be really heavy. As heavy as heavier than a 6-foot palm tree, I think, if a palm had 6 feet of trunk on it. So I put a yellow ribbon on it, but there's the trunk right there. And yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful tree fern. Dicksonia antarctica. And we have 2 of them. We have a smaller one. And then we also have, I'll show you some needle palms too. Better idea. Yeah, I think I'll dig it, Susan. There's some needle palms down there. See those right there? Needle palms, Rhipidophyllum hystrix. And then there's a China fir there. And there's just a whole mix mash of stuff in here, man. It's just like, I go down there once in a while. Thanks, Susan. It's really a wild garden. Don't have to fuss over it, but I'll miss it. But we're not in a hurry to sell. So when it does sell, hey, it sells. There it is. Something you see lots in California. Right there is Strelitzia regia. I've had this one 25 years. I do bring it in the wintertime. I just throw it in a cold basement. Pretty dark in there. I just throw a grow light over top of it. But this one's still got to open. I've been fertilizing it. But aren't they beautiful? Just love them. This is a Trachycarpus martianus palm. And that stays outside in the winter. I just put it in the tiki hut. It's not heated. So it's never been heated. So that's a Trachycarpus martianus with a waggy Trachycarpus wagnerianus growing in the same pot. Then there's some Fortunae in there. Here's a Trachycarpus hybrid. This just stays out year round, just the way you see it. Right in this pot. Don't do anything with it. That just stays like that. There's a Mexican fan palm. That's Washingtonia robusta. So these are the ones that grow all over California. They're frickin' weeds. And they got really sharp spines up the petioles. You gotta be careful with those ones. And then down here, we got the bamboo forest. More palms, southern magnolias. That's jungle of bamboo down there. So much bamboo, eucalyptus. And all growing here on the Gulf Islands in the North Pacific, 30-foot tall laurel trees. I grew those from cuttings years ago. Tanbark oak. These are native to the southern coast of Oregon and California. And that's Lithocarpus. And then there's bay tree up there. We have bay trees all over the place. You know what? Bay trees naturalize here. So we have so many bay trees. These are all naturalized bay trees. You know, your cooking bay, they just grow everywhere like weeds growing out of the rock. Can you grow hibiscus? Yes, we have hibiscus. We have lots of hibiscus in our garden, you betcha. They're beautiful too. This is citrus. This one only comes in for a couple months in the wintertime, just in the cold basement. That's Meyer lemon with palms growing out, of course. And yeah, we have hibiscus. I'll show you. Hey, Brian. Howdy, buddy. Oh, good to have you in there, man. There's some more tree ferns here. Cyathea cooperi, those are Australian. There's Australian tree fern there. Australian tree fern there. Norfolk pine, and that stayed out most of the winter. This tree is a pretty cool tree. I grew it from seed. That's called a Heteromeles arbustifolia. And that's a California holly or a toyon. And it's funny, at my last location, long time ago, before I lived here, I had a greenhouse and I propagate palms. And I brought in a bunch of palm seeds from California. And guess what? That came up in a seed flat of California fan palms. I go, that's not a palm tree. And I couldn't figure out what it was until I planted it and it started growing. When I moved here, I planted it in the early 90s. It's a California holly. I get a big cherry blossom. Oh, I like cherries, man. Cherry blossom are nice. You know what? Oh, ravens. The cherry blossom, some of the ornamental cherries actually produce edible fruit. And where I work part-time, my retirement job, I maintain the gardens, beautiful gardens out front. There's these 3 ornamental cherry trees. Well, guess what? People don't realize they produce these super sweet black cherries. So I've been pigging out on those today. And then when Wendy and I went shopping, well, we ate some more cherries. There's myrtle in there, true myrtle, right there, eucalyptus family. So these bloom, Heteromeles arbustifolia, so toyon, Toyon, California holly, and they get beautiful white flowers that the bees and the butterflies like, and then it's followed by berries that the birds like. So in the fall, and it is evergreen. Definitely an evergreen plant. So I'm going to show you some hibiscus. More figs here. These figs are great. I love figs. Figs are so yummy. And we will be harvesting these ones probably at the end of this month. There's quite a few figs up in here. We have a lot of fig trees. I love figs. They're one of my favorite fruit. This one here I think might be brown turkey, or it could be Cadota. It's different than the ones that we have in the with more citrus in the back. Okay, let's go. Let's go see here. Shut this. Get this mail in here. See, the Prime. Didn't even know that was there. What is this? Maybe Wendy's. I don't know. Kind of weird. There's nothing in it much. Krista. No, this is Krista's. Krista's. It's all Krista's stuff. Here. That's Krista's. Okay, so let's go out and show you. And I'm going to show you the view here, and what you've probably seen before, right? There's the view from the kitchen. What do you think? And that's a year-round view. You look out there, and just palms make even a dreary winter day look so much better when you look out there, and it's kind of gloomy, and you look at those palms. It's like, looks warmer than what it actually is. I mean, it can be a 45-degree Fahrenheit day, and it's like, it looks a little warmer out there. Looks are deceiving, right? When you have palm trees. So I'll show you the hibiscus, and hopefully this won't crack. Oh, here's hibiscus. These stay out year-round too. These ones are just in pots. I'm gonna have to water them. Man, they get dry. Hibiscus, yeah, it's dry. I have to water the sun deck. Definitely gonna water the sun deck right now. And then we have some bigger ones. There's another hibiscus there. And then we have more in the other gardens, and there's some bigger ones here. Hibiscus, those are hibiscus over there. There's two nice hibiscus there. Those are doubles. So yeah, we have several hibiscus in the garden. There's some pretty hardy hibiscus. They're not all just wimpy plants. So I'm going to spin this around, and then I'm going to water. And then you can see me watering this deck, and you have to keep stuff watered, otherwise it dries out. You should put some solar under a few palms. Yeah, you know what? Lights under palms look great. Where I used to live, Susan, I actually did have green spotlights up under the palm trees. And it really was nice. It was really awesome. So I'm going to grab this hose here. Oh man, it's hot back here. In the full sun, it gets really hot. So it's about 73 in the shade, and it feels like it's 90 in the sun here, or hotter. So I didn't get to go for a motorbike ride today. I was too busy. I had to do some stuff at the bank. So give these guys a little drinky poo. Keep Wendy's plants happy. Gara. Yeah, I agree. Lighting is good, Susan. It just makes plants, gives them a bit of a wow factor, especially at night, eh? Wendy does actually put, see the spinach right here? That's called Malabar climbing spinach. It's super cool. And it's really buttery. Look it up, Malabar climbing spinach. Super good in salads or sandwiches. Date palm, one of my seed-grown date palms right there. And, I didn't have a big enough pot. Obviously, I needed a taller pot. But that's the only pot I had, so that's why the root ball's sticking out. There's a cluster of about 7 Phoenix canariensis palms in there, right? And then we got the black petunias. Look at those. What do you think of those? Aren't they beautiful? That's Wendy's lilacs. Beautiful at night. I agree, Susan. Lighting on palms, absolutely amazing at night. And like my last place, when I lived south of Vancouver, I had a lot of palm trees, and I did have lighting on them. And at nighttime, the green lighting was just spectacular. This is a flying dragon citrus right here. This has been outside for about 10 years, easily. Never comes in. It's a hardy one. It does fine. Man, it's cooking here. Just cooking. Probably a lot hotter in California. Depends if you're on the coast. If you're in Sacramento, it's probably just a cooker. I talked to a lot of guys that live in Sacramento area. There's a little baby waggy. Yeah, you know what? We sell this place. The new place we get, I'm going to put lighting. We'll get lighting under the palm trees for sure. But the real estate market's not very good right now. It's kind of crappy. So I'm I'm not expecting it to sell anytime soon. We've had people come and look at it. 100 here today. Oh my God. Yeah, so you're obviously inland. You're inland from the coast, because the coast never gets to 100. If you're down in if you're up in Eureka, Crescent City, Fort Bragg, some of those places, San Francisco, they're more regulated by the ocean. So you're obviously inland a bit. You could be Fresno, Bakersfield, some of those places. Desert, Yucca Valley, those places get pretty toasty. Even the summer high elevation places get pretty toasty because they're inland. It's rare that it gets to 100 here. Although it's been over 100 since I've lived here. That was in end of June 2021, man. It fried a lot of stuff in the garden. It was this weird heat wave we had, and it was like unbelievable. There's a little tree fern right there. For years. So we have been looking for a house, then $1. That's recently. Yeah, your dollar's good. The Canadian dollar sucks, man. Our dollar sucks, man. You could buy this place. It only costs you half price. American dollar's worth a lot. You gotta love the American dollar. I like it. I love the American dollar. I like the looks of the American dollar too. But houses are expensive here. But if you put it into American money, not so bad. We're selling this place for 1.3, right? It's 1.3. So, and our friend's got her place for sale for 1.6. This is 2 acres here, but it's a beautiful 2 acres, fully landscaped, 2 accommodations, across street from the ocean. And it's got 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's close enough to school if you got kids. The school bus picks kids up at the end of the driveway, which is nice. All my kids grew up here. All my kids were raised here. They're all older now, and they all live off island. They all live on the Big Island. So one of these days, I'm going to be living on the Big Island too. It's just a matter of time, right? Matter of time before we start. Wendy and I start a new garden. Yeah, there's a hybrid palm there. Got to keep Wendy's hydrangeas watered. They like a lot of water. Little waggy palm. But yeah, there's lots of real estate out there. The problem is right now there's too many houses on the market. That's the problem. So people can be really picky and choosy right now, which is kind of a bummer, but that's life. That's the way it goes. It would have been better for us to sell a couple of years ago, but we weren't ready to sell. Our Budas tree there, it's kind of burnt from the sun. Anyway, you'll find something out there. Are you in Southern California, Susan? I'm sure there'll be something out there for you. There's always something, right? There's always something out there. That's like us too. We know what we want. We've already been out looking. We've already been out house hunting, but we got to sell this place first. We had the real estate drive. 2 different real estate people drive us around last week. And then the week before, we were out looking around at different houses on Vancouver Island. There's some really, really beautiful places over there. So we want to downsize in property, and then we will start a new garden. Definitely. Got to water this guy too. Sereno Reapins, they like their water. Yes, you're Southern Cal. And I'm sure prices are pretty high there too. I bet you, eh? They'd have to be. And yeah, when you do the exchange rate, like in Canada, like our dollar's like 30 cents less than yours. I think it's like that, 30 cents or so. It's like, oh man, your dollar goes a long way. There's a lot of American tourists here right now. A lot of them. They come here because they get more bang for their buck, right? They come to hang out, go on vacation. Crazy high here. Oh, I bet it's crazy high there, yeah. Salt Spring Island, where we live, is more money than, say, most places on Vancouver Island, unless you go to Victoria. Victoria's really high, but prices here are really high. Everything on Salt Spring's expensive, just because we're on an island, and things have to be brought in by boat. So the price of gas, price of food, you pay more if you're going to live on this island. So you better have a lot of money, you better be retired with a good pension coming in, or you better have a business, right? Or have a good job anyway. That's the thing. You got to have a good job if you live here. I had a really good job. I worked for the government for a long time, the Parks Department. So, and I liked that job. It was great. Parks Department job was the best. But anyway, when I retired in end of November 2021, I took a whole year off. Then I could be picky and choosy with what I wanted. People were asking me if I wanted to work for them. So I took on a job at the at a country grocer, a local grocery store chain. So there's 11 or 12 of these stores on southern Vancouver Island. And I do gardening and maintenance. I work 3 days a week, Tuesday to Thursday. Start at 4:40 a.m. in the morning, and I'm done at 10:40 a.m. in the morning. I would do my 6 hours, and I'm out of there. And I love it, man. I planted 6 palms in the garden today. I do what I want with the gardens. You see the gardens in front of this grocery store, man. They're huge. It's like a Safeway. It's like that size, the store, right? So pretty good size store. And it employs about 250 people where I work, something like that. So it sounds like you're set up good. So you have nothing to worry about. You're good. Yeah, I get a pension. And I get 2 pensions. I get my government pension, and then I get Canada pension, right? So when you turn 60, you get another pension from the government too if you paid into it. And I paid into it for over 40 years. So yeah, I got income coming in, and then plus I work. Thinking that we can take the ferry, just a minute. Thinking we can take the ferry a couple times a month for stock up or groceries. Oh yeah, well, there's 2 grocery stores here. There's 2 big grocery stores. There's Country Grocer and Thrifties, right? But you know what we do every 6 weeks? Wendy gets our little dog groomed in Victoria every 6 weeks. So we go to Victoria. And we stock up at Costco. And there's also Costco in Nanaimo. And there's also a Costco in Comox. So there's like 3 or 4 Costcos on Vancouver Island. So we don't have to worry about that. There's lots, and it's cheaper on Vancouver Island than here. But you know what? This is a really nice. Oh, he gets Canadian pension. Cool. Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So he gets a CPP, and if he's old enough, he gets old age pension. Wendy just started getting her old age pension this year because she turned 65. In December, she turned 65, so she gets CPP and OAP, and she gets a teacher's pension. And then I get my CRD, so I get my Parks and Rec pension, and which is a government pension, and then I got my CPP, which is kind of cool. So I'm not going to complain. And then plus I work, and you know what? And I'm still paying into my pension. I still pay into my pension because I'm working 3 days a week. So it's good. Life is good. I can't complain. And yeah, we're going to downsize. Like I say, we'll get something a bit smaller yard, and kind of just kick back on Vancouver Island. That's the plan anyway. Wendy says, you want to move now or do you want to move when you're 80? Well, I'm 61. She's 65, right? She says, better to move now, be proactive, and it'll suck because I'm going to miss this place, man. Like, it is going to really suck leaving this garden. I will probably cry because this garden is kind of my life, and same with Wendy's too. So, but she says, we can always start another garden. I left my last garden was lots of palm trees when I lived south of Vancouver. I had lots of palms in that garden. So, and I did take a lot of them with me. I hear my buddy on his Harley going up the road. So anyway, I think I got everything watered here, and strawberries, this, that. Okay, we're good. We got her watered there. But yeah, it's nice when you get a pension. If you paid into it all those years, then you deserve it, right? I mean, there's some people that never paid into it that much. So they're not getting very much. They're only getting a few $100 a month, right? But I mean, if you can get like $800, $900 a month or more, that helps, right? But hey, the more you make, the more the government takes, it seems anyway. That's the way it is up here in Canada. But, you know, living on this island, I'll flip it over to the trees, it's like we're a million miles away from all the nonsense that goes on in the rest of Canada. You know, we're kind of remote because we got the ferry that's to get over to the mainland. It's usually a 3-hour ferry ride. I don't go over to the mainland that much. But to the island, to get over to Vancouver Island from here, there's a ferry terminal just around the corner, Vesuvius. 20 minutes, that's it. 20 minutes, and easy peasy. And you can go from there, you go to Crofton. So from Vesuvius on Salt Spring, there's 3 ferry terminals here on Salt Spring Island. There's one around the corner from us, which is Vesuvius. That's a 20-minute ferry. And to get to Victoria, we just drive to Malahat, which is quick. Or you can drive to the south end of Salt Spring Island and take another ferry, the Fulford Ferry to Swartz Bay. That's about a 30-minute ferry, something like that, 35. And then you drive to Victoria from there. And to get to the mainland, you go to Long Harbour, and you go to a ferry terminal over on the other side, south of Vancouver. I think it's about 15 miles south of Vancouver or so. And it's Tsawwassen. And you get into Tsawwassen Terminal. And but a direct ferry is only an hour and a half. Most of the time, it's a 3-hour ferry ride because you're not going to get a direct ferry. If you're lucky, you'll get a direct ferry. But most of the time, you're going to get the ferry that stops at every other island. So it leaves Salt Spring. First stop is Pender Island, and people get on and off cars. And then it goes to Main Island. Then it goes to Galliano Island, same thing. So that's why it takes longer. But if it doesn't stop any of those islands, direct hour and a half. Not too bad. We're the farthest southwest here of the southern Gulf Islands. There's a lot of islands out there, man. And like I say, Salt Spring's the biggest of the Gulf Islands, the southern Gulf Islands. We have the hospital. We have 3 fire halls. We're actually building a brand new big one. We have 2 big grocery stores. No fast food here. There's no box stores here on any of the islands. There's 2 gas stations. We used to actually have 5 gas stations. There's 3 elementary schools. There's 1 high school. The 1 high school is good for all the islands. The other islanders that come to high school come in by school boat every morning, and they drop them off here at the docks, Kanaka Dock, down in town at Rotary Park, and then they walk to school. So yeah, we have the only high school, we have the only hospital on the southern Gulf Islands, and that's one of the reasons I came to this island, because we have a hospital, and you need a hospital. And so we have doctors, we have physiotherapists, we have chiropractors, we have police station, we have everything here. We're basically this self-contained island, and we have 11 lakes. Beautiful, there's some nice beaches here, beautiful ocean around us, and lakes have lots of fish in them too. And there's a lot of organic farmers here, lots of farm stands everywhere around the island, never without food. If you want fresh food, there's lots of orchards, so lots of fresh apples. A lot of people here grow melons and stuff like that. Is the hospital's good hospital? Yep, for sure. But for big major surgeries, if you're going to have an open heart surgery, you just go to Victoria, Royal Jubilee, or Vic General. Easy, close. But yeah, our hospital's good. We call it Lady Minto. Lady Minto Hospital, good hospital. And yep, I've had minor surgery in there. My wife actually had her gallbladder out in there, my ex-wife. Gallbladder, they'd probably take your appendix out in there. But if you had major heart surgery and stuff, you got to go to Victoria, which isn't that far away, you know. And if it was a real emergency, they have a helipad here. They airlift you, helicopter come right in and take you away. That's what happened to my dad. You know, back in '99, my old man was mowing the lawn, and he was starting to get these chest pains. And he said to my mom, which was his wife, they're both gone now. He says, I think I'm having a heart attack. And she said, well, how about I call an ambulance for you then? She says, no. He says, no, you drive me to the hospital. I was like, that's how my old man was. So anyway, mom drives him to the hospital here. And basically they put him on the old blood thinners and stuff like that. I went in because she called me, said, your dad just had a heart attack. So I went in there. I was talking to him in emergency while he's having it. And then they airlifted him to Royal Jubilee. And then they put in, did the angioplasty, the stent, kind of like they went in through his leg, kind of the groin area. And he made it to 82. So he's 65, made it another 17 years. And then he kicked the bucket. And the only reason he kicked the bucket, he didn't want to take those. They put him on some pills to thin his blood or something like that. And Dad said, I don't want to take this crap anymore. So that was the end of him. Dad didn't make it past 82. So he was a good dude. But yeah, so anyway, thank God for the air ambulance, the helicopter. They took him right over within minutes. You're in Victoria, from our helipad at our hospital to Royal Jubilee. And I've had surgery in Royal Jubilee. I had a detached retina in 2012. So they did eye surgery there. And there's also a big hospital. Blood thinners are important. Yeah, I know. So I take a baby aspirin every day. Low dose baby aspirin. That's what my doctor said for me to take. I got to watch it. It's genetics with me, right? It is genetics. I got to really want, like, you know what's crazy? I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I rarely ever have a beer. I don't drink any hard alcohol or anything. I just drink lots of water. I drink green herbal tea like mint, nettle, ginger every day. I don't really drink coffee. I'll have like an oat milk latte in the morning. Genetics. And I had to have a heart stent put in, not last December, but the end of the December before. So it would have been end of December 2023. And the weird thing was, and I work out 5 days a week. I'm in the gym 5 days a week, man. I've been doing it since I was 17. I've been working out, right? Which pisses me off that I have high cholesterol because my liver makes more. So anyway, I'd be hiking to the top of these mountains here and stuff, or riding my bike up big hills, and I was starting to get shortness of breath. And I says, what the hell? I've never smoked in my life. Something wrong with my lungs? So I go to the doctor, and my doctor sets me through sets me up for a CT scan. Yeah, I'm doing exercise every day. I work out. I'm in the gym. I have my own gym here. I have Bowflex Ultimate too, and I have Weider weights, Weider bench, and all that stuff. And so anyway, he sends me to Saanich Hospital, which is just near Victoria, and they put me through the old CT scan, the full body scan, and then they come out and the results show like, hey man, you got like a partially plugged up artery. Like it was 70% plugged. One of my arteries going to the heart. That's why I was getting shortness of breath, cholesterol, right? A plaque in the arteries. So they says we're gonna have to put a stent in there. So they set me up, and I went in for my stent end of December 2023. It was day surgery. It was crazy. I was awake during the entire thing. So they send me over to Wendy and I drove over to Victoria. I stayed overnight at a hotel. We just got a hotel, and the hotel was paid for. Medical paid for the hotel, which was cool. So I go in. In the morning. I went in at 8:30 in the morning. And my surgery was around, they put me into surgery at around 10 a.m. A lot of waiting around. Anyway, 10 a.m. And I was out of surgery by 11 a.m. And then I had to wait. And they have to kind of keep an eye on you for a few hours. So I got out of there at about 3:45. It was 3:45 by the time I got out of there. So it was day surgery. But the weirdest thing is when you go in for one of those heart stents, you know where they go in? They go in through your wrist right there. They went in through the banana. See that banana right there? They went in right through there. And that was the most painful part of the surgery. Nothing else really hurt. And I'm watching it on a big screen TV with three beautiful nurses. I'm chatting with them while they're doing this heart stent there, and I can see it. I'm watching it on the screen, and I can feel this thing moving up my arm. I guess it's attached to a wire or something, and you can feel this thing moving up your arm. There we go, live. I'm sorry about that. No, not. Yeah, my dad through the groin in 1999. They do it through me. They went through here through the wrist, right? There we go. We're live again. That really bugs me, that freaking connection. I'm running Starlink too. Anyway, I'm in the house. So hopefully it works a little bit better now. I think I was actually too far from the modem. So anyway, it was just day surgery. And, they gave me a list of things I shouldn't be doing after the surgery, but I never listened. I never read the list. And I remember going out, I went to the gym basically the next day. And I didn't let it heal, right? Because I'm active. I can't keep still. And then I was out chopping wood. And then the next day I woke up and my arm was all blue. It was all blue. And it's like, oh my God, I got this massive bruise. So I went to the doctor and he says, I was like internal bleeding. He says, you can't do anything like that. And then I went to work too. Bad news. So I didn't read anything that was on the list. The things I shouldn't do, I did. And anyway, so I had to take it easy there we go. Anyway, this thing keeps freezing. I want to thank you guys for, oh no, yeah, yeah, I know, it sucked when it happened. It wasn't painful, but it wasn't good. So if the doctor gives you instructions and he gives you a list of things not to do after surgery, you better read them. I didn't. I just took that paper and I just chucked it off to the side. And then Wendy says, did you read this? I go, no. And I'm reading everything on there. Says, oh my God, that's everything I shouldn't have done, right? Anyway, yeah, it worked out good, and I do watch my diet. I really do watch my diet. I don't eat junk food. I try not to eat any junk food. Once in a while, I'll splurge when we go off island. I will have a veggie burger at A&W. It's made out of beets and stuff like that, but I don't eat like cheesies and chips and all that crap and deep fried junk. I stay away from that stuff. I got to watch it. Other people, it's okay, but I can't eat that stuff, man. It's just not good for me. And anyway, that's the way it is. I made it. Typical man, not really. Yeah, I was typical. I'm going to tell you. You know what it said on the very first thing on that page, that information said, no sex. I swear to God. And Wendy's laughing. She says, no sex. I says, well, I effed up there already, right? And then I was out splitting wood, and then I went into the gym and I was pumping iron. And that's what it was. It was internal bleeding. And my doctor says, Joe. So, yeah, fresh fish is, yeah, I do eat fresh fish. And we got a lot of it around our island. That's the thing. I do eat fish. We eat a lot of fish, chicken. And once in a while, I will have a steak. I do like a steak, but I have to get my steak a little bit more well done and less marbling. The cholesterol doctor says less marbling in the steak. And Wendy says, well, Wendy loves steak. Her cholesterol's fine. More marbling is going to give you flavor. Less marbling, less flavor, but I don't really care. I'm not a steak connoisseur. Once in a while, I will eat a steak. Um, but fish, salmon. I had a salmon sandwich the other day. The bread's probably not good for. I did eat whole grain, but salmon I love, and I eat sardines. I like sardines. Just eat filet mignon. I love filet mignon, man. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Filet mignon. Actually, matter of fact, on the cruise, when I was on the cruise, I had two filet mignons. And we went to this low and fat. Oh God, that has always been my favorite. Even when I was younger, when I was a teenager, if I was out on a date with a girl, I'd go to the Keg restaurant and I'd order a filet mignon tender. So the ones that I ate on the cruise, you could cut them with a fork. They were just that tender, just like not a chunk, not a huge chunk of meat. It was like maybe about that thick and round about like that. But oh, just kind of melt in your mouth. And Wendy did actually buy some top. No, she bought some ribeye. I think she actually just bought some ribeye. But low and fat is the key. Deep fried stuff is really bad. I know it tastes good. It's funny. All the stuff that tastes really good is actually really bad for you, right? Chips and sugar. Too much sugar, like potato chips and crap. Deep fried, no good. Potato chips, bad. So I don't eat those things. And anyway, can all eat. Yeah, we're all going to die, right? So you got to enjoy life. But yeah, everything in moderation, I guess. Rayan Khan. Hi, Susan. Hi, Rayan Khan. Thanks for joining in. Ribeye is the tastiest. Oh, I know. Ribeye is so good. I like T-bone too. Hello, Rayan. You know what they had when I went into the store today? I was looking in the cooler. They had tomahawk. In the freezer, they had tomahawk. Filet is healthier. So I got to stick with filet mignon then. Okay, that's good to know. That's a good tip, Susan. Filet mignon. Oh, yeah. I'm getting hungry for steak. I did actually have a BLT for dinner, and there was some I had one piece of bacon in it. But she usually puts avocado in it. But I did make a salad too. I made salad. You know what? She's saying filet mignon is the healthiest steak for me. Yes. Filet mignon is the least amount of fat. I didn't know that.
There's no fat in it.
I didn't know that. So there's no fat in it?
No, there's the ones we buy don't have fat.
Oh, okay. So filet mignon is the way to go. So Wendy, when you're buying yourself a ribeye, I'm gonna get me a filet mignon. I don't think Wendy's much into filet mignon. Sir, you're a very good person. I really want to have a minute from you. Well, you're having a minute right now. You're on a live stream. This is it. This is a live stream. You're in here getting a minute right now, a free minute. What do you think of that? Susan's getting a minute. Rand's getting a minute. Everybody's getting a minute. Yes. Am I a good person? Well, you're saying I'm a good person. That's a nice thing to say. But anyway, thanks for joining in the live stream. I think I'm going to start doing more live streams on this channel. I used to do a lot of them on my other channel, which I still have, and I upload on it every day, Banana JSSI. So basically, I have 3 YouTube channels. My very first YouTube channel that I started in 2008. You know what happened? I think I have over 1,000 videos on that channel. And I logged out one day and I couldn't get back in. I couldn't figure out my password, so I actually had to start a new YouTube channel. So Relaxing Kiwi. It's not about food. I'm starving from days to eat. Can anyone? Starving from days to eat. Well, you got to get somebody near you because I'm far away. I usually buy a whole filet at Costco, cut it up. That's what Wendy does. Okay, Wendy doesn't buy. She'll buy a roast, Susan. Relax. What do you do for a job? I'm retired. My wife keeps me busy. You know what my wife does? She gives me a honey-do list, and I fulfill her list. My job is to keep... You know what my job is? My job is to keep that woman happy. Right there. That's what I do. I keep her happy. And if I keep her happy, then my life is easier and I'm happy. Yeah. So anyway, what I did do for a job, I was a parks department guy. I was a gardener and maintenance dude for the parks department for years. And I live on a small island. We live on a small island in the North Pacific. We call it Gilligan's Island. Okay, I'm going to look out the window right now. So if I told you we're on an island in Canada, you probably wouldn't believe me by looking at that. So we're on a small island in Canada off the Pacific coast of British Columbia in the North Pacific. Okay, so a Canadian island we like to call Gilligan's Island. My job is to keep her happy. what kind of man you are.
You're saying that because I'm in the room.
I'm saying that, yeah. When she leaves, I was going to say. No, she's a great gal.
I do what I want.
Wendy's an awesome gal. No, I don't do what I want. I listen to her. Wendy's kind of my boss, okay?
You're kind of stuff.
I'm a bit whipped. She's a
You're not.
she's a Sagittarius and I'm an Aries. And she says we're both fire.
We're both fire.
Are we both fire?
Yeah.
How many of you people are Sagittarius out there? You
We're
know,
both fire.
it's funny. This is a second time lucky. My ex was a Sagittarius, and then I ended up with another Sagittarius right here. There's something about hi, Auntie Mandy. Hi, Aunt Mandy. Auntie, who is Mandy? You know what? You know what's weird? Mandy was my brother-in-law's girlfriend's name. When he was going out with a girl, her name was Mandy. Anyway, you know, like happy wife, happy life. That's my saying. Happy wife, happy life. I always buy her flowers year round. You know, some guys only buy their wife or girlfriend flowers on Valentine's Day. I don't do that. Are you a Sagittarius too? Unreal. So Susan is a Sagittarius, and I know you've been following this channel for a while. Wendy's birthday is December 6th, and my birthday is March 29th. So I'm an Aries, and Wendy's a Sag. I think her dad was a Sag too. Yeah. So Sages are good people, but I didn't realize they're fire until Wendy told me that is a fire sign. Did you know that? You probably knew that. Wendy's kind of into the horoscope. You're a Sag too? November 26th. Oh, that's so weird. My mother-in-law's birthday was November 27th, my ex. What are you doing for 4th of July? Well, I tell you what, since we're in Canada, we don't really celebrate that here, but I'll tell you something super cool. When I lived on the mainland, I'd go to the railroad tracks at a border town, and I'd watch the fireworks in Washington State. A lot of people here, 4th of July, can go to the higher points of our island and look into the States and see the fireworks in Washington. How much does it cost for you to have 3 times a meal a day? Oh, it's expensive here, man. This is a 3 meals a day here. It's funny, when Wendy and I were eating our dinner, tonight, Wendy made these great BLT sandwiches. I made a salad. And I said, how much do you think this meal would cost if we went out to eat that meal? And she says, with a tip and everything, about $80. That's how much that meal would cost for 2 sandwiches, a salad, and I did actually have a beer. I had a cheap little beer, and she had a beer, a cerveza. She had a Mexican beer. She says that would cost $80 at least with a tip if we went out for 1 meal. They don't do fireworks. Oh, yeah, no, they do fireworks in Ganges Harbor. Yeah, oh, yeah. Hey, Wendy, did they do fireworks last night? I think they did. Last night they did fireworks. And, you know, Susan, I used to go down there, and I used to videotape them. I actually have a lot of videos on my other YouTube channel of the July 1st Canada Day. So, Ninja, Guppy, Canada Day is July 1st, and we celebrate, that's Canada's birthday, July 1st, and Independence Day, 4th of July, of course, is the U.S. birthday. So the U.S. is going to be 249 years old. Canada's 158 years old. 1867 became the Dominion of Canada, but Canada was settled in 1604 by the Europeans, right? So Canada's been around a long time. But Susan, they actually do fireworks in Ganges Harbor out on the barge, and the firefighters put that on. But I didn't go. You know what? I get up early in the morning, and it was just a bad timing for me, because if I go to bed at 8 o'clock and the fireworks start at 10 o'clock when it's dark, I got to get up at 3:45 a.m. in the morning. I need my 8 hours sleep, so I didn't bother. But Wendy's daughter was going to go, and then she was too tired too, and she left today for the mainland. So, but anyway, it's expensive here for 3 meals a day, Rayanne. Rhodey, last night we sat watching Canadians shooting fireworks over the border international. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Oh, that's pretty cool. Minnesota. You know what? I watch a really good live streamer, Raz, Adventures with Raz, and she's in Minnesota. And I think she's down in Louisiana or Texas right now traveling. But check out her channel. Her YouTube channel is called Adventures with Raz, R-A-Z-Z, R-A-Z-Z. And she's actually in Minnesota. And I try to get onto her live streams every day if I time it right. But that's what we used to do when I lived on the mainland. I lived on a border town, Washington State, and not too far south of Vancouver. And I could watch the fireworks if I went to the railroad tracks in White Rock. I could see them at Samiamu. And here, even on our island, if you go up to a south end mountain, you can actually see the fireworks in the States, which is really cool. So Friday, if I was to venture out, and I don't feel like going to the very south end of our island, but people will do that. Wendy's daughter used to do that, and she'd go up to the mountain and sit up there and watch the fireworks in the U.S., good old USA, which is really cool, man. And U.S. celebrate big time, man, when it comes to 4th of July. I love my American friends, and if I was down there too, I'd be celebrating. So I didn't really do anything here for Canada Day. We went to the car show. We have a big car show here for Canada Day, and it's cool. But yeah, the International Falls would be really cool. I guess that's kind of like Niagara Falls, but not quite, because I think Minnesota is south of. Where is it south of Manitoba? Where's Minnesota south of, or is it just the south of the lake, one of the lakes? I'm curious. I'm good with geography, but I was thinking, let's just see. North Dakota is south of Saskatchewan. Wisconsin. Yeah, check her out. Yeah, check her out. Adventures with Raz. And subscribe to her channel. She's a really great gal. We are like a mile from the border. It's oh cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. Rainy Lake. Oh, I'll have to check that out. Rhodey, Dakota. You know, my wife Wendy used to live in North Dakota. Did you know that? When Wendy was a kid, she lived in North Dakota and she went to school there too. Elementary school in North Dakota. South of Altona for sure. So would that be Manitoba, right? There we go. Sorry, sometimes the signal dies out on me on this Starlink. When you pay $160 a month for this thing, you shouldn't be crapping out on me. But Altona, so I'm guessing Altona is in Manitoba.